Hi, anybody there? Yes, a little bit later than 4 o'clock, like I said. This is my first Facebook Live in about 4 months, would you believe? Yeah, I can't get my head around that. Yeah, I took a bit of a short break from doing all of that. And I started again with Instagram this week. And it went a bit wrong the first attempt. And then I tried it again and it didn't save the video, which was a bit disappointing. So I thought I'd come on here and say hello. I'm hoping to start these again. And I'm a bit nervous because I feel slightly out of practice. But hey ho, I'm here. Hello. Yes. When I was doing these lives back in April, May, and up until the beginning of June, and we were talking about meditative doodling, about how to get used to using the pen and the pencils, and how to start absolutely from scratch. And yeah, so that was the running theme that I had all those weeks ago. And I thought, as I'm coming back, as it were, this week, I thought I could touch upon some things that I thought would be of some use to you. And I thought I could show you some templates with how to draw people or draw faces. I thought to myself, well, I'll start slow with the basics. And I thought that today I'd show you the dimensions and measurements of a face, so that it could give you a template and some ideas to work with, so that you can play around and have some fun and get used to where the eyes, the nose and the lips sit on a face, so that you can have a go at practicing drawing other people, or you could practice or get to creating your own characters even. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through very briefly 3 artist templates that I've come across that I thought that you might find helpful, and I thought I'd run through each one and each name, and then I thought I'd have a go at showing you myself about how you can work with that on paper, and it will be like a step-by-step. So that's what's going on today, and I hope you enjoy. So let's get down to it. There's the door. Right, pad down here in front of me, and what I'm going to do is run through each of these names we've got here. These are the artists that I'm going to be showing you, and these are names and templates that you can look up on YouTube, or you can look up on the net, and you can print them off or download them. So I'll run through each one for you now. So starting with Andrew Loomis, this is the Andrew Loomis method we've got here, which is measurements of the face and templates using very basic lines, outlines and shapes here for you. A little bit about Andrew Loomis. He was an American illustrator, author and art instructor. He released a lot of books about how to draw, particularly how to draw people, for the first half of the 20th century up until the 50s when he passed away. And Loomis mainly works in proportions and construction, building up from simple shapes as we've got here. And so this is Andrew Loomis, otherwise known as the Loomis Method. And the next one I'm going to be showing you, if I can get hold of the thing, is the Frank J. Reilly method, otherwise known as the Reilly method. Now, same kind of generation as Loomis. Reilly, he was an American painter, illustrator, muralist and teacher. He spent many years teaching at the Grand Central School of Art, and his method is mainly dealing with shape and flow of the body's lines and curves. His method wasn't published like Andrew Loomis's was, and he was a teacher, as I say, at the Grand Central School of Art, and a lot of his methods and his teachings were picked up by the lectures that people attended, and a lot of artists were influenced by his method of working, and so his has pretty much been passed down through say those students who went there and then they became artists and then taught others this method themselves. So very different way of working, a lot more graphically complicated than Loomis. And then I've got this for you. This is the George Bridgman Method. Now, George Bridgman, he was a Canadian-American painter, writer and teacher, and he taught in the fields of anatomy and figure drawing. And I think you can tell by the way he works, this is very influenced by what you can tell that he was probably taught in the way of the old masters, like say from the Renaissance period, or from say Michelangelo's David, or the sculptures of Bernini. He was a little bit older than Loomis and Reilly, and I think that's where that whole influence comes from, was that whole classics influence kind of style. And Bridgman mainly dealt with the masses of the body and how they join together, and his thesis was that the artist must have an idea of what figure to be drawn and what that figure is going to be doing, and that the artist must have a sense of the nature and the condition of the action or the inaction. And he was interested in adding masses to attachments and parts of the body. But all three of these are ideas and templates that you can have a try with, and they are all unique. And yeah, if you want to take note of these names and just have a play around, see what you like working with or what best works for you. And if you are not as experienced, or if you are just starting with drawing people, you can maybe work with Reilly, or you could work with the Loomis methods, or if you want more of a challenge, maybe try the boxy method of Bridgman. But throughout this whole session, I'm going to have the names written down here for you, just so that you have note of them and you can look them up on YouTube or over the net. There's plenty of examples and plenty of tutorial videos for you to look at. And yeah, so what I'm going to be showing you today is the Andrew Loomis method. This is the one that we're going to be doing today, and the one I'm going to be showing you. This version I've got for you was one that I saw in a tutorial, and this is as close to the Andrew Loomis method that I believe I came across. And so I know it looks super complicated, and I know it looks like so confusing, but I'm going to go through this step by step for you. And yeah, if you just allow me to, I'm just going to see if I could sharpen a pencil for you. Yeah, you know how you come across a pencil and then it's just not sharpened. It was sharpened the last time I checked. Doing this a bit cack-handed. If anybody's got any questions at all, please do let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And if any case, I shall begin this for you. So, as I say, looks really complicated, really weird, but as I go on, it should make more sense for you. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to... Damn pencil. Start with as rough a circle as possible. So we got our circle. So you've got the circle here for you. And right in the middle of this circle, we're going to draw ourselves a X. So that should be right as in the center as possible. So we got our X in the middle. And then what we're going to do is, see this line up here, right at the top of the X? We're going to split our circle into quarters. So we're going across these points here. We've got our X right in the middle, and you can use a ruler if that makes you more comfortable. Yeah, you can see how nervous my line is right now as I'm doing this for you. And that includes at the bottom of our X. So what you've done is you've split your circle into 1, 2, 3 3/4 so far. And what you want to do is, let's see, is that accurate? Bring that a little bit higher. What you want to do is measure about the distance between the very middle to this line. Should be about here, just above our circle. And the distance between our middle of our cross to here should be, I'll see if I can line this out a bit better for you. Distance between the middle here to here should lie just below our circle. Make it more like this for you. It's really weird drawing this with one hand and holding the camera with the other one. Yeah. Any questions you want to ask me, please do ask away. I'll answer as best I can. So now you've got your quarters here, and then you've got the one down here as well, and that should make more sense. Yeah, Tamara, as we draw our person here, I'm going to mark out how you can make the face as oval or as circular or square as you like. Yeah, what we're focusing on right now is the circle, the X in the middle, and we're splitting into quarters here. So I will get round to that in just a moment. And what we're going to do next is bring these lines in here slightly. It will make more sense as we go along. And then you have another one here. Now, might help, what I'm going to do is label these for you, just to show you. But this line here, just above our circle, that's going to be the top of your hair, and the top of the circle is going to be the top of the head, and then you've got this line here, which is going to be your hairline, and that middle, where the cross was, where the cross lies, is going to be your eyebrows. That's where your eyebrows are going to be, and it's also where the tops of the ears are going to be. And you've got this line here, the bottom of your cross, which is going to be where your nose is going to sit, and where the bottom of the ears will sit. I'm labelling these as I go. As I say, you can find the Andrew Loomis templates or several different templates from different angles online, but I'm just showing you how it sits here on the page as we're going, just so that it makes more sense. Hi Chris, yeah, it's lovely to be back online, and it's lovely to be doing this again. Very nervous, but feeling out of practice, but no, I'm really happy to be doing this again, and it's nice to see you too. And yeah, so you've got your nose and bottom of the ears at the bottom of the cross, and this, the bottom of your circle, is going to be your lips. As I say, it's very, very weird if you've never done this before, which is why I decided to have that illustration there and do it step by step for you here. I mean, it took me a few goes to get used to this, because when you've been drawing for years and years, and you've been through art school and everything, and you pick up techniques along the way, it's really, really difficult when you're thinking about how would you show somebody if they've never done this before, and then you look to the fundamentals and you think to yourself, you know, where did that template that everybody sees come from? And then you come up with all these different templates and all these different styles, and then you think, oh yeah, that's where it came from, when you go back to basics. So without further ado, I'll show you how you can get your face started. So as I say, we've got, the hair, got the head here, hairline, eyebrows. Now the eyebrows sit just on that line. And just below your line for the eyebrows and the eyes, you've got your eyes. And they should sit on a line just below that line. Should have added that in. I'll add it in as I go. That's where the eyes are supposedly meant to sit. You've got your nose, which is on this line here. And these lines here. Now, this is going to be your jawline. And it comes down onto that bottom line there, which is your chin. That line that sits right below the circle. And that is where you can give your face more shape and more form. And you can make the face, as sharp or defined or as round as you want it to be. And of course, dimensions for a male face are going to be different from a female face. The female face is going to be more delicate, whereas the male face is going to be more, say it's going to, like the eyebrows for example, will be a lot more unruly and look a bit more square. And maybe at some point I can go through styles of eyes and styles of lips, but for now we're just focusing on what goes on a human face. So now our face is looking a little bit more like a human face at the minute. Just do those roughly for you, and maybe I'll go into making this look more human maybe after filming, but just do that for you. So there we go. And now we've got this part here. See this line here, eyebrows, top of the ears, and this one for the nose. The dimensions, which is the ears, the tops of the ears should be just about in line with the eyes and the eyebrows, and they should stop just at the bottom of the nose. See, there we go. So we've got our ears in, and you've got your hairline here. If you imagine that we're looking at a face straight on, when you're looking at someone, you're imagining as if their hair goes, like you're viewing somebody, so the hair and the forehead goes, like a curve backwards. And so you've got your forehead, and this is where, say, your fringe or, your fringe or your bangs or whatever will fall into place. Or you can make it like a parting for a girl, or even for a guy if he's got curtains. But hair has volume, a little bit of volume. So if you imagine you've got the top of the head, which is the top of the circle, and you've got, this is where your hair would sit, and say where the hair would fall. And yeah, when you've got a vague idea of where the features on a face are going to sit, and this goes for say if you imagine a graphic novel character, like say Batman or Spider-Man or whoever, what makes them convincing, even though they are comics and they're cartoons? And even if you think about, like say, any cartoon on the telly, which is like say if you imagine Disney movies like Aladdin or The Little Mermaid or anything, what makes them more convincing is that the dimensions of the face are as true to a human face as possible, unless you're going to be watching something like, say, on Cartoon Network, where the characters are all cubist and they're all kinds of weirdo shapes and balls and squares and whatnot. If you are, say, creating your own characters, or if you're drawing from characters, what makes them a little bit more human-like, or a little bit more have that element of realism is that if you have the dimensions as true to as real as they possibly are, Yeah, so these templates are just guides, and that's another thing to remember, is that they are just guides of what sits where on your face. And now that you've got your template, and now that we have more of an idea of what sits where, you can start playing around with it. You can start playing with, like what hairstyles you want to give your character. Is it a man or a woman? Have they got a more round face? Have they got a more boxy face? And yeah, there we go. Sort of come down here. Yeah, Tam, to be honest, I've struggled, to be honest, with eyes through the years. I had a specific way of figuring out how to do noses through the years, but noses I always struggled with through time. I tend to do a very simplistic kind of way of drawing drawing noses, and I have a really simplistic way of drawing sorry, I'm just trying to concentrate, of drawing eyes. I do not know what this character is going to end up looking like, but some sort of grungy like alien girl. But yeah, so this is the Andrew Loomis method that I'm drawing from today. But these 3 names you can look up online, or you can look up on YouTube for any kind of tutorials. But I hope that this has given you some kind of I don't know, some sort of something to work from. Yeah, and the idea is just to play around with it, and more than anything, have fun and just practice and see what works for you. Yeah, it is nice coming back on here doing these, and what's been nice is that people have said, oh, where have you been? And the truth of the matter is, because you know, June just seemed to be a little bit of a stagnant time during lockdown, and I think a lot of people might feel the same way about that. But I ended up taking a small break from doing the lives, and I was also being pulled away to do other projects as well. It was a much needed break. And I was going to say, the last person that I drew, which I completed, I gave them pixie ears, and that's like when you know where the dimensions are going to be on the face, you can then start inventing and adding bits. So I'm going to give my character little pixie ears. And this as well, you see we had the top of the head here, or the hairline. You see we got the parting that goes back a little bit, so you got where the hair would sprout in a parting. And then, I mean, heck, you could give the character, you can make your character have a buzz cut, you can have them have a crew cut, so you could make it really long, and you could do whatever you like with them once you know where everything is. I feel like I should have made the nose a little bit lower, but never mind. But yeah, so I hope that I've given you something at least to work with. Yeah. Okay, so now that's going to give me something to work from, at least. I don't know, she's going to be some sort of cyber alien girl, I think. Anyway, so there we go. I have here the Andrew Loomis face dimensions and face measurements template for you, otherwise known as the Loomis method. And we've also got the methods of Frank J. Reilly and George Bridgman for you to look up as well. So here we go. Don't know what I'm going to come up with next, but I hope you're having a really nice day, and I hope that you just carry on having fun, carry on creating, and yes. Right, I'm going to wrap this up now, but hope you're having a lovely Friday and have a really nice weekend. So bye bye.